I had completely lost myself. Why was he allowing my family to go through this? It was during this time that my anxiety had gotten 10 times worse. My anxiety not only got worse, but depression was added to the mix. I was still chasing after my own desires and what I thought was the answer to my problems. Elementary school, things were going great. My family was good. Parents were getting along. Things were just going good. I was going to church every day. I had friends in church. They kept me going. I got saved. I remember telling my mom. We're all excited. And then we scheduled for me to be baptized because I knew that was the next step. I didn't know why I was doing it. I just knew I had to do it. So I got baptized and I thought I was good to go. So in the 7th grade, I started having anxiety because everything in my house was a wreck. Parents weren't getting along, and I honestly thought it was because of me and the kids. I was in 7th grade. I had no other reason to think. So that's what really triggered it. I would cry for no reason. I remember telling my mom, I said, I'm crying and I have no idea why. And that went on for a good year. And right then I knew that's when I knew that something wasn't right with me, that I had to reevaluate who I was putting my trust in. Was it these pills that I was taking every day, or was it God? My anxiety made me feel empty. I felt like I had no purpose. It got to the point that I couldn't function during the day. I felt depressed. It started off with just bad anxiety, and then it ended up with depression. And that's really when I felt empty and felt like I was nothing. Felt like I had nothing to live for. I got involved with the wrong group of people. It started off with me just hanging out with the wrong people. And I had convinced myself that they're not going to influence me to do anything. As long as I wasn't doing what they were doing, I was okay to keep going. So one thing led to another, and my anxiety got 10 times worse. So I tried to find something to fix it. I wasn't looking to God to fix it. I was trying to fix it myself. So one thing led to another, and I started drinking. I was getting wasted almost every night, and I was hiding this from everyone. I was getting wasted every night. I was a virgin up until I was 21. So I went through high school and college with that pressure of losing it to just give it away one day, because I was trying to fix everything myself, and I thought that would fix it, and it didn't. I was doing drugs. I was doing everything that was not of God, trying to fix it myself, and nothing worked. I would just live every day. I would wake up, put a smile on my face, act like nothing was wrong, and no one knew anything was wrong either. I still posted on Facebook like I normally did. I came to church. I taught Sunday school. I went to the youth groups, and some days, no one understood how hard it was for me to actually get up that morning or that evening and go to church. It was January 2017, and I've been struggling with this way of life for 2 years now, basically. And I just started my student teaching placement, so this is what I've been working towards my entire life. Ever since I was little, teaching was what I wanted to do. I'd come home from school and play school. So this was the last step for me to be my own teacher. But no one knew how bad I was really struggling inside, how empty I felt, how I felt like, I had no life. I felt like I had no purpose. So I started my student teaching, and things were going. I was going. It was March 2017 probably, and it got to the point that I couldn't wake up without crying. I would go to bed at night with my face soaking wet because I didn't want to live another day. I mean, I didn't want the thought of waking up to another day in the life that I was living was too much for me. So I would go to sleep, when I did go to sleep, with my face soaking wet, and I would wake up the same because the day was here that I had to live. And some days I would get to school with my student teaching placement, and I'd had to leave because I couldn't do it. I remember going to the bathroom multiple times, just crying, trying to get myself together, and then just leaving. I couldn't do it. I mean, I was struggling. It was bad. It was a struggle getting up every morning. And when I did get up, I'd put that mask on my face and keep going. It was about April, I finally opened up to my mom, and I told her, I said, something's got to change because I cannot keep doing this to myself. I couldn't go out to eat because I was crying. I couldn't go to school events because I was crying. I mean, I couldn't keep living like this. So I finally opened up to my mom, and I told her, I said, the only way that I feel that I can end this feeling is if I quit. I mean, I had went through 4 years of school, and I was literally a month away from graduating, and I was ready to quit. I told her, I said, I can't do it anymore. Of course, being the mom she is, we went to the doctor, got my medication changed. She had multiple people talk to me, including my professors at Averett, and I was convinced to keep going, thankfully. I was convinced to keep going, but it was a struggle. Every single day was a fight. And again, I was trying to fix it myself with the things of this world and not looking to the one that could fix it. In May, I walked across the stage and graduated with my teaching license in pre-K through 6. But not only did I graduate with my license, but I already had a job lined up because I was a kindergarten teacher and I accepted it. So, I mean, I had finally reached the finish line. This was it. I was done. And I, again, should have been over the moon on cloud 9. And again, from the outside looking in, I was, but inside I was not. The first day of school, I'm not a student anymore. I'm a teacher. So this is what I've been working towards my whole life. Instead of playing school when I got home, I was actually in school. I was the teacher. So I did this for 3 days. I went to school, put on my mask, went to the bathroom, cried a little bit, came back out, kept on going, got home, dropped my stuff, and just lost it. I mean, for 3 days, I went through this, crying every single day, not knowing how I was going to keep going, not knowing how I was going to get up and go in that classroom again, not knowing how I was going to see these people, how I was going to keep hiding it the way I was. I mean, I was struggling. So the last day, that Friday, I left school, I went home, and I said, I'm not going back. I can't do this. That Sunday, I went to church like normal. Nothing's wrong. I decided to give another shot, so I actually did go back to school that Sunday. The doors were open. I went in there with the intentions of getting all my things together to be able to teach on Monday. When I walked into the classroom, I immediately just sat at my desk and just started crying again. I mean, it's just, I couldn't help it. It just, something came over me and I couldn't do it. So I got my stuff together, I walked out, and I honestly had no intentions of ever going back inside that school again. I can't really say what my thoughts were leading up to this, because when you're that in that dark of a mindset, I mean, you're not thinking reasonably, you're not thinking straight at all. The only thing that's going through your mind at 100 miles a minute is, how am I going to end this? How is this feeling going to go away? So I remember looking down at my hands, and I had an entire bottle of my anxiety medicine poured out in my hands. And I remember balling all 34 pills up in a fist with tears rolling down my face. And I remember putting the pills up to my mouth and putting all of them in my mouth, and I held it there for a minute. I just held them there, thinking, was there any other way that I could go about this? but I couldn't think of anything, and I swallowed them. This was the 14th of August, about midnight. I was outside. My sister just happened to come outside, and I was laying on the ground, completely shaken. It was like I was having a seizure. It was so bad. I remember my hearing was going away. My throat was closing in. I couldn't hardly breathe. I remember telling my sister on the way to the hospital that if I closed my eyes that I was dead. I remember saying that. I just knew I was dead. I remember laying in the hospital bed completely. I was done. I just remember telling everyone, I said I just wanted it to end. I just wanted this feeling to go away, and I had no idea how I was supposed to do it. I spent a week in the hospital, completely isolated from the world. The only thing I had was my Bible and God. I told God, I said, I know nothing is going to change when I leave these doors. I knew nothing was going to change. I said, you have got to send me something or someone to help me. I said, because nothing's going to change, because I can't do this on my own. Well, I ended that. I got out of the hospital that Sunday. I went to the school and I quit my teaching job. 2 weeks later, August 28th, I was holding a positive pregnancy test in my hand. I honestly didn't know how much my life could get worse than what it already is. None of us are perfect, but the difference was now my imperfections was going to be on blast for everyone to see, instead of me being able to hide it like I was. But it was no longer about me anymore. Someone else was dependent on me to survive. So I knew that I had to get my life together. I had to conquer this depression, anxiety, and this emptiness I was feeling, because there was someone else dependent on me to live. So that's what I worked on for 9 months, was getting myself together, my relationship with God back straight. I had a lot of people judging me, but I didn't care. My life was getting back on track. May 18th, my daughter was born, Camden, and I knew at that moment that was the answer to my prayer that day. That prayer that I answered for God to send me someone to come into my life to help me reevaluate, to help me understand that I do have a life that's worth living, and I have a purpose in this life, and I know that she was the answer to that prayer. What I didn't know at the time of me taking those pills was that I was pregnant. So I should be dead and Camden should be dead. Neither of us should be here, but both of us are here. But God has a purpose for my life and her life. Now I am raising my precious daughter, and I actually went back to teaching. So I'm teaching 4th grade at Schoolfield now. I'm back in church. God never left me, and now every day my life is being lived for Him. Every day I get up and I thank Him for another day, where before I couldn't do that. I didn't want to live my life, and now I look forward to every day with my daughter and going to school, teaching these babies that I'm teaching. I look forward to it. If you are like I was and you're thinking about taking your life, it's not worth it. Your life is worth living. God has a plan for you. He has a plan for your life. Everything that happens in your life is for a reason. So whatever you're going through, just hang on. It's worth it.